Hi, it's Marina the Soul Alchemist, and it is time for Pick Your Own Card Weekly Guidance for the 2nd through to the 8th of December. So happy December. We are in the last few weeks of 2024. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are using the Akashic Oracle card deck, which is a modality in a box. And look, I have this in this amazing magazine. Oh, there we go, Kindred Spirits. So you can get your deck in time for Christmas. So it is a modality in a box. It comes with a masterclass and a key, which you can turn into a pendulum to activate karmic healing. And I'll show you how to do that in the free masterclass that comes with the cards. So if you want to get yourself a deck, then click the link below. There is a link below, and that's what the deck looks like. And if you've got any questions, please pop them in the comments below or reach out to me instead. So this week we are looking at Karmic Patterns as our bonus card. And if you've not had a chance to tune in, you can tune into cards 1, 2, or 3. And I'm going to reveal the messages, themes, and energies now. All of these cards, even though you've picked one specific card perhaps, or 2 cards, again, as I always like to advise, listen to all of the cards. These are different layers of our being, of our multidimensional being this week. And it's Karmic Patterns as the bonus card. And I think for the bonus card, it's given us an idea of where to really see that karmic pattern at play. But the karmic pattern is going to be rooted to one of these cards or more than one card. And that is where you're going to be able to see maybe what you want to work on, maybe just observe that part, that aspect of yourself so that you can potentially see that karmic pattern and start to respond differently. Look at what the trigger is of that karmic pattern. When I say karmic pattern, because we have like loads and loads of karmic patterns going on, because karma is just a choice and consequence. So everything that we do, there's a consequence as a result of the choices, the decisions, the actions that we are taking. So we've got all of these karmic patterns going on because we're constantly doing. And so there's always going to be a result. But the karmic patterns that we are talking about are the ones that are perhaps limiting us, they are confining us in a maybe a limiting belief or a program, something that isn't helping our expansion, our next level maybe of identity, or changing our experience, our circumstances to ones that are more favorable, ones that we would like to experience. So when I talk about karmic patterns, I'm talking about the ones that are holding us back or restricting us, limiting us. So you're going to get an idea of what the theme is for the karmic pattern, but then you've got some deeper insight with the bonus card in terms of where you can perhaps see that at play. So if you pick card 1, and I pick card 1 as the main focus, it's deservability and self-worth. So this karmic pattern, this aspect for you that's going to present itself maybe in a bigger way through this week is going to be focused on, it's going to point the light, it's going to press maybe the wound around your deservability and self-worth. So it's kind of like, am I enough? Am I enough? Do I know enough? Am I smart enough? Do I have enough talent? Whatever the thing is, there's enoughness or not enoughness that's coming through here. Do I deserve this without working really hard? Blood, sweat, and tears. You know, am I able to just have things easy and just flow to me? What do I have to do to feel comfortable for that so I feel deserving? There's so much that is connected to deservability and self-worth. So really kind of like think about and notice and observe what is going on for your deservability and self-worth, and where you perhaps limit or downplay or just feel not worthy or not enough in some shape or form, and ask yourself why that is. What has triggered that? What has been the pattern of little things that have led to you feeling that way or thinking that way? Because this card is saying you are enough, you are deserving, and this is about looking at the wounds that are underneath that are perhaps telling you otherwise. And those wounds are just there to be healed, but it's acknowledgement. We need to see what those things are so that we can actually bring the light to them. And that could be the violet flame, it could be divine source light. You might work with rays of light, angelic rays of light. You may want to get your pendulum out. If you've got these cards, then you could actually just use these cards as the healing tool. And this is what we're discovering through the certification, that each card has its own portal of healing. And it's just as simple as asking for this card, having this card out for 24 hours and asking anything that's connected to deservability or self-worth or whatever your card is, asking for all of the roots, all of the threads, all of the cords, all of the programming, all of the wounding, the trauma, whatever's linked to it, vows, agreements, to be released, if it's for your highest good, back to divine source light. And because you've set that intention and you've got the card out, it's like activating the coding within the card so that things can just get to work. And you may want to sit and reflect with the card and do a bit of journaling, which is beautiful, it's perfect. But having the card out also is enough for you to start the healing process. So it's really interesting that I'm working with a card through the certification that was the card that was the supporter, is kind of for my success in delivering the certification, because it's a beta round. And I have this out constantly. It's my constant eye line when I'm sat at the desk. And I have noticed with the message of that card that things are shifting and evolving around that particular theme. And it's really interesting because I'm not doing anything specific, but I'm noticing that there is changes in my behavior, noticing there's changes in my feelings, my thoughts around this particular topic. And I am taking different action. And I know it's because I have that card out. And it's happening in a very gentle, organic way, which is perfect because it still does the job. It doesn't always have to be like really fast, you know? And sometimes slow and gentle and organic is much better on the nervous system, and we can just like go along with it. It's perfect. So these cards definitely do activate their own healing when you set the intention to do that. So if you've got these cards, just be mindful that each one is a portal for healing as well. You can use it as a portal for healing. So deservability and self-worth, where do you need to look at this in a deeper way? You may find through the week that this is triggered in some way. There may be some wounding, rejection wounding, abandonment wounding that's coming up. And so we react to try and, you know, alleviate that pain or ignore that pain. Or we downplay our worth to fit in, to appease others. Whatever it might be, you've got an opportunity to start to heal that. So deservability and self-worth. Also, just make sure you're standing in your power this week. Really kind of like feel that this for me was the inner queen. So this is the archetype that came through. It's just like this real queen energy. So step into your queendom or kingdom if you are male, or you prefer to just be the king. That's all perfect. But this is about being in your power, being in your like inner authority, being in your courage, being in your strength. So let me know how that card's resonating. And of course, if you want to go deeper, if you want to get your own deck of cards, then please reach out to me or check out the links below. So card 2, this is another aspect of ourselves. And this is going to be from a karmic pattern perspective. This is probably what's going to show up for you this week if you've picked card 2 as your main focus. And it's the shadow. So you may find that there's aspects of your shadow and the traits of your shadow showing up this week. And so all of those aspects that are not deemed acceptable by society's kind of like norms are those personality traits that we try and hide because they're not acceptable. We've been told by family and our friends and our teachers that being an angry person and having anger as an emotion is not healthy. Or, you know, if you get really jealous of other people, or you have like a lot of hate within you for whatever reason, there's all of these, and selfish and lazy, you know, there's all of these traits that are not deemed as like being good or positive, and they are just traits of human nature. And so the more that we can accept, like judgment as well, for me, shadow for me is definitely judgment that comes up. Um, And I think maybe laziness as well. I'm not lazy at all. I'll do anything not to kind of be perceived as lazy. But clearly, there is a part of me that wants to be lazy, but I do what I can to make sure that I don't. So that just has me being busy all of the time. So, shadow love, what parts of your shadow want to be brought into the light? So, we've got this beautiful full moon, we've got this beautiful violet flame energy, bringing the love, bringing that acceptance, bringing that kind of integration into your week. So, there's a karmic pattern that's probably going to be connected to your shadow aspects, where you maybe are wanting to suppress the shadow, not wanting to react or respond with a judgment, with harsh words, being critical. And of course, there's going to be parts of our shadow that need to be worked on, because when we are intentionally hurting others to feel better about ourselves, then that's something that, you know, needs to probably be looked at, because it's like, why are you trying to do that, you know? But this is doing it without judgment. It's doing it with kindness. It's doing it with gentleness. It's doing it with unconditional love. So your shadow is looking for love this week, but you've got to recognize what those shadow parts are and bring them into the light. Don't ignore them. Don't suppress them. Don't feel ashamed of them. It's just like, we've all got these aspects. We really all have got these aspects. And the more that we can accept that that's part of our nature, then we can integrate all aspects of ourselves, and we can love ourselves more completely. We have this more wholesome frequency of love that can go to all aspects of our multidimensional being. It has us feel more at peace with ourselves. And then we show up in quite a different way, which then shows up differently with our external circumstances as well, because we feel more at peace with ourselves, you know. So, shadow love, what aspects of your shadow are potentially coming forward for you to acknowledge this week and to bring light, bring love, bring acceptance to? And that could be potentially be the karmic pattern, is that you keep ignoring, you keep suppressing. And the shadow is like, no, I would like to connect, and I would like to be integrated, accepted. And there, you know, there could be quite a bit of forgiveness around parts of that as well, depending on how the shadow is showing up and what the reactions are of the shadow. And that might be the thing that needs to be tweaked and then integrated in a different way. So let me know how that is landing for you. And of course, you know, if you want to go deeper with a one-to-one session, then let me know. I do one-to-one readings. Empowerment oracle sessions, they're called. So that's really about empowering you to make change, to move forward. There's karmic healing that's part of that particular session, as well as a 3-month forecast. So let me know if you want more details around that. So your third card, again, an aspect of ourselves. We talked about the Queen, we've talked about the shadow. Now we've got to talk about the inner child. Of course we have. So it's nature, it's the magical child. So, you know, for you, your magical child, your inner child, maybe it's most playful and it's most present when you're actually out in nature. And that's why we've got all of these beautiful fairies. We've got this magical woodland, and we've got this beautiful water with the butterflies. And it feels really like, it feels magical. It feels very fairy-like, a magical kind of wonderland. But what this card is asking for us to do is to look at the inner child aspect, the magical child. So the inner child, once it's kind of once we've started to work with our inner child, and we've done quite a bit of healing with our inner child, different levels of the inner child in terms of different ages, from birth, being in the womb, all the way up to early, you know, like adulthood. There's all those aspects of our inner child that can receive healing and be acknowledged. And once we've kind of started to integrate that aspect and we acknowledge and we work with the inner child, then we can start to open up the creativity and the playfulness of the magical child and allow that to come forward in a more present way in the here and now. And we feel more open to being more playful, you know, in our everyday. And that could be creativity, like drawing, but it might be activities that you do with grandchildren, children. It might be you going out and like being in a park or being on the beach and, you know, playing with sandcastles and things like that. However your magical child wants to express itself, it could be through music, it could be through dance. That is the creative aspect, that is the inner child part. And we don't really then need to question that part of ourselves when we want to, and we feel the urge to kind of, you know, just do some more creative, playful things. Then that is us being able to express our inner child without any inhibition, without judgment, without the fear of criticism. And this is what this card is saying, is if you've got a karmic pattern that's connected with the inner child, it might be that you're not allowing that aspect of yourself to come forward, the creative part, the expressed part, because there is a fear of being chastised, there is a fear of being punished, I've been told you're not any good at that, you know, be quiet. There's all those parts, all of those layers that can suppress the inner child, having too much responsibility, needing to step up at a really early age because of the family dynamics, that there was no other choice, you know? So the playful and the creative aspect hasn't even really been experienced and expressed at that time because responsibilities were too big and it was like, we need to survive, you know? So there might be this whole reconnection with your inner child that hasn't even, you know, been explored. And this is the time to do that. So the karmic pattern here could be just feeling serious all of the time, feeling like there isn't an aspect of playfulness and joy and just frivolity and fun. That's where the magical child, the inner child, can bring that aspect to our experience. And if you're not feeling that or you're suppressing that for whatever reason, this card is saying it's time to connect with your inner child and have some more fun. And if you need to go out into nature for that to come forward and for you to just, you know, go and talk to the flowers or go talk to the trees, go hug a tree, go do those things that you would imagine a child would do when they're going into the woods or going out to the beach or going out into nature, you know, jumping in puddles and, you know, playing hide and seek. It's all these things that you think, oh my God, I can't do that because that's just silly. That's just programming and that's just your assumptions that it's silly, but your magical child, your inner child is like, no, let's go do that, please. And it just brings a different aspect into your experience. It allows you to experience life in a different way and through a different lens. And it helps to lift the vibration of your life, but also just we put that out into the world as well. So nature. So we've talked about the queen energy, we've talked about our shadow, we've talked about our inner child. Let me know how these cards are landing. So the final card, this is the karmic pattern, and this is where you're really going to get it reflected back to you in a bigger way. So if you haven't quite understood the specific card and how you feel that that's going to show up for you, then I would look to your home and your environment also to see what's happening there. So this is with your relationships, this is with your space, this is maybe where the people that you hang out with, the locations that you go to. If you're kind of hanging out with people that are draining your energy, then you are having that reflected back to you that something needs to be changed in terms of maybe connecting more with your inner child and bringing a sense of playfulness and creativity, and maybe stepping back from those environments or people that drain your energy and have a bit more fun, be in spaces, be with people that are injecting energy giving you energy, not draining it. If there is aspects of your shadow that are needing to come through or not be suppressed, then you might find that your relationships are the triggers that are bringing the shadow or wanting the shadow to come forward. And it's then how you work with the shadow from that. If your home and in your environment are bringing the shadow forward, then see that as a positive, because you're not having to go and find your shadow. It is being brought forward, but it's then how you embrace the shadow rather than reject it. And again, your deservability and self-worth. What things are you doing? Are you doom scrolling and you comparinitis and not feeling good enough because you're comparing yourself in terms of your productivity, your achievements and things like that, which are all external stuff, which then impact your self-esteem, your confidence, your self-belief and your self-worth. So that's then telling you your external environment is telling you or indicating that that's a habit that you could stop at any time. It's just maybe needs a bit more discipline with yourself, and also asking, what is it am I avoiding and why am I doing that? Why am I distracting myself with that? What is the purpose of that? What am I avoiding doing? Which the thing that you're avoiding is probably the thing that's going to get you to the next level, or it's going to give you some good growth in some way. It's going to help you progress forward, or just move through something. So your home and environment is the space, the people, the relationships, the actual environment itself. You know, if you've got particular parts of your room or your space or your home that are really cluttered, then that's a reflection of your internal mind, body, soul, energy. And if you can start to clear those aspects, you start to also feel a bit clearer, maybe a bit more clearer with ideas, direction, decisions. So you might find that there's a good correlation there as well. So your home and environment are going to be reflecting back the karmic pattern, the loop that you are in, or the thing that you're ignoring. And that's what's being presented to you. So this is extra information. So if you're struggling in terms of finding these three things, or it's just not presented itself, then just look at your home and environment, look at your relationships, and just see what has been reflected back to you this week, because that will help you to get more insight. So let me know how these cards resonate. It is a beautiful, powerful week for us to really explore different aspects of ourselves and break the karmic pattern. However, if you want a bit more direct support with breaking that karmic pattern, then please reach out and we can discuss options in being able to do that. I do one-to-one sessions, or you could just get the deck of cards. And as I've already mentioned, and if you've not heard, go listen to card 1, because I talked about how to activate the healing through the cards. The cards, each of these particular cards have its own portal, its own coding within it that can activate healing that's related to that card. So you could actively activate some healing if you've got these cards as well for yourself. So love and blessings. I hope you have a beautiful week. And if you've got any feedback or any insights, any ahas, please drop them in the comments below. So love and blessings, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.